A znovu new content, zkusíme. Počkej, ale what? What the fuck?
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Tyvo, já můžu crouchovat. Ale that's actually, jo, tohle je new content, no. Let's go.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new ultra deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
OK, že to jsem přidal von. Super. Protože Ultra Deluxe stojí o docela dost éček víc než normální Stanley Parable, tak už jsem to chtěl taky komentovat, jak ten čurák. Takže to jsem docela vtipný. Wow, čete, koukejte ty texturky. Ten portál, tady to světlo. Ultra Deluxe bomba.
I call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Když to je jako vlastně Flex Doom, prostě. Skvělý. Jsem přesně potřeboval.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Skvělý tohle, ty vole. OK. Good times, OK. Don't play for 5 years, OK.
Je suis dans la memory zone, c'est cela pris des loups.
Do prdele! Ano, to práva.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created."
Prostě ona nejedům.
Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Cool. Představte, že by takhle streameři třeba za sebou měli, normálně za kamerou by měli takovou šrajnu se svíčkama, prostě, já nevím, třeba máme já nevím, 2000 subů klap, nebo něco takového. To by mi přišlo docela dost vtipný.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parabel is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else.
Znáte to, ne? Znáte to, čete takový to, když přijdou k vám rodiče a někoho napadne ta skvělá myšlenka. Tak si vezmeme fotky, podíváme se na ně a budeme si vyprávět o tom, jaké to kdysi bylo. Serious Room, tam chci. Já tam nejumpnu, ale jsem v piče.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
Jsem si vypítoval jumpy, no.
Hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Skvělý. Takže to je super, tady bude pravda. Dnes se mi tak krásně prokrastinuje, to je dobře, Mkač, od toho tu si.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Super.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parabel, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Unfunny! Taky zdravím. Maty. To tady nemůžu jumpnout. Blbý. Steam reviews je fakt divný.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parabel isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Teď je down a možná, že když to teď zrestartujeme, čete, tak to bude úplně ještě jinčí.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parabel. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
That's good. Mě by zajímalo, jestli to je jako fakt ty narace, anebo jestli dokonce jakoby ta narace začala na základě fakt špatných recenzí. Už někdo napsal blbý recenze na Steamu a oni si to jako vzali, začali si z toho dělat prdel a začali přemýšlet nad tím, že by to vlastně mohli použít do příběhu. To by mi přišlo ještě víc cool. A nevím, co z toho to je.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parabel is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an
Nestůj tady a nečekej, až začnu držet hubu, ale zavři mi hubu, to je skvělý.
And the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, no, until 245. But the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, no, until 245. But the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime.
Je to zalupovaný, že jo?
It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say,
ještě jsem nikdy neviděl tu další květinu, která by měla být důležitá.
And therefore, by becoming it is.
Je achievement za počívání 4 hodiny. Maybe?
Until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah.
Máme si ještě minutu.
We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45... Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks.
That's great.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about...
Oh shit, on asi umřel.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
A bit. To je docela heavy.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little...
What the fuck? What the fuck?
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Oh shit. Okay.
Vy jste se zase kochal, že jo, pane doktore?
Tam kytka je mrtvá, no. Trošku jsem to rozbil, no. To je fakt absurdní tohle. Úplně absurdní, ty vole. Tady Klere, čau čau. Zdravím tě tady. Já vím, že logický hry jakože ne, ale když vidím, co všechno dokáže jedním čudlíkem. Já mám spousty her kolene, co bych jako ještě potřeboval dohrát, no. Hele, a už mi to. Kytky jsou zpátky. Oni se rozmnožili. Je to tak, hry na doporučení směřujte na Discord, je tam přímo i růmka pro suby, jestli se nepletu. To je zvuk z PlayStationu, že jo? Ne, podobný, ne. Studenting screeny. What? Uh-oh. To je fakt skvělý, ty vole. Já jsem to s tím tlačítkem četl asi trošku přehnal. Jsme v roce 2438 po Kristu. Je. Nemáte tlačítko, já bych potřeboval rewind. Není tady někde tlačítko rewind? Jenom jedno malý tlačítko rewind, to všechno sfixne. Já musím odejít. No, protože nechá ta hra. Ale teraz máš aspoň znovu open world hru, to je pravda, no. Já se loučím, měj se hezky, Aptoriane, čau čau. Buď pár set tisíc let v budoucnosti, anebo někde poblíž New Jersey.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Čete. Máme tady nový content. Dungeon Master jde, čau. OK, pojďme do toho. Streamer vždycky potřebuje ten content, přesně tak. A nejlepší je novej.
Oh good, you noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Jo, všimnul jsem si toho znamení, no. Něco nového mi ukáže, OK. Tak let's go. The end is never the end. Teď doleva. Tady to půjde určitě doleva potom, ne?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parabel and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parabel was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parabel 2.
Woo! Premiéra na Twitchi, čete, nikdy v životě jste to určitě neviděli. Let's go! Můžete změnit titulek? Můžete tam dát hru Stanely Parabel 2? Můžete to rozhlásit na Discordu, na sociálkách, ať tím nachytám co nejvíc followerů, subscriberů, byťáků, donáťáků, ať se stanu slavnějším a slavnějším. Prosím, co nejrychleji.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Když na tím tak přemýšlím, tak vlastně Kolfalko vlastně zase se mu povedlo sniknout a spojil do chatu, že jo, dneska. OK. Já to pak asi ještě nějak trošku vyřeším off stream. Protože už se mi to nelíbí.
Calling it the Stanley Parabel 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parabel 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Jako v čemže je pokračování? No tak třeba kdyby si to šel googlit, že jo? A to pak vyřešíme, Kolfalko, ale už jsem trošku naštvaný na to, no. Jak to potom vyřešíme? Teď to těžké spojení není, protože jsem to negooglil. Ale bojím se, že kdybych to googlil, tak to asi zjistím, co se tam bude dít. Ty vole, a to bych byl nasranej. No, zatím to je teda jako nudný, jenom to samý v trošku vytuněnějším kanclu, mám pocit. They are back, 2 doors, nice. Pojďme, co je tady? Co je TSP? Stanley Parabel. Já mě to nachytalo to D. To mě úplně heklo. To D. Nebej toho D. Tyhle, to dám úplně suše, ale... Okay. Hele, tady to je důležitý, čete. Logo IDS. Jaký se vám líbí nejvíc? Já se s tím museli srát, ty vole. Tam to vypadá bohužel jako logo Alana Shitcakea, ty vole 2. Tohle je asi nejlepší, no. Okay. 5. 5 má nápad, no. Bracho, čau. Nerozumím, co mi říkáš, promiň.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parabel 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Okay. Proč lidi? Mejvne, čau. Proč lidem dělá takový problém psát jako lidi do chatu? Dneska nebude Minilor, brachio, a potřeboval jsem na toho France, aby mi to přeložil. Who took direct marker? Me. To je skvělý. To je úplně nejlepší joke. Mium. No, to vlastně tady nemůžu říkat. Fakt skvělý. Let's go. Tyva. Okay. To by bylo složitý. To spíš, kdyby to bylo jako, že by hledali modrou, no. Počkej, teď mám... Jo, tady já. Content autobus, jo. Okay. Expo.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
To je skvělý. Merch, to musíme mít hlavně. Infinite hole, ty vole, chci...
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, Stepniece, it is.
A to je fakt pravda, čete. Taky občas přijdu třeba domů k ženě, ne? A hele, teďkon řešíme scénáři, ty vole, potřebuji tam tohle a napadlo mi, že můžu dělat tohle, anebo by mohli dělat tohle. A žena, to druhý, to je mnohem lepší. A mám pocit, že víš, to první je lepší, protože tohle a tohle. A vlastně jako, chápu to, tohle je dobrý joke, ale je vlastně pravdivý. A 12 je tady přesně. Super, docela vtipný.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Okay.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling.
Yes, pojď
You
mi.
can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Jde do toho, čete. Hele, a možná ty vole, bych si na to mohl dát takovej ten, budeme skákat dolů a dám si na to jako Ludvík, takovej ten, jak se to jmenuje, že prostě jako dokud budou sabit to do té doby prostě poletím tou dírou. On myslel příběhově, helpo, ne loopem, který můžeš v portálu dělat, hádám. Teď už je youtuber, ale nebyl, že jo.